Welcome to Reddit Tea Time. Am I the bonehead? My ex, who may have a terminal illness, wants to reconnect with me. I, 41 male, am struggling with a very horrible decision I am making. I wanted to get an outside perspective on if I'm justified in what I'm doing, or if I'm being a huge bonehead. I started dating my ex, K, 41 female, when I was 16. We were in high school and inseparable. We went to the same college and dated for 6 years. When I was in my final year of college, I was accepted into my dream school for a PhD program with a full-ride scholarship. However, I had to move halfway across the world to attend the school. Kay assured me that this was my dream and she would support me, and we could do long distance. Things were great during the first 6 months. However, during my second semester, Kay told me that she wanted to take a break from our relationship. She said that all her friends are single and she wants to be able to experience life. However, she still wanted to be friends. I was completely heartbroken, but I always thought that there was no way she could be with someone else other than me since we had been dating for such a long time. Within a few weeks, she started telling me that she had a crush on one of her colleagues, and within a month, they started dating. I am not proud to admit this, but I had a really bad mental breakdown. I was barely able to concentrate on anything, and my grades during the semester drastically suffered. I was put on probation and was told to improve my GPA or else I would lose my scholarship. That was enough to snap me out of the funk, and I became a workaholic and used to work for 14 to 16 hours a day. Of course, I got out of probation and finished my program. I never talked to Kay after my mental breakdown, as it was important for me to maintain distance from her. I had never been a very emotional person, but it was very humbling to see how a person could have so much power to completely break me from the inside. I dated a few girls in college, but nothing lasted more than a few months. I was too focused on my studies. Kay sent me an invite to her wedding during that time, which I never replied to. The only time I talked to Kay after that was once after I graduated, and she called me to congratulate me. The call lasted for 5 minutes, and I have never talked to her since. I met my wife when I was 28. Actually, we were neighbors growing up. Our parents are still neighbors, but she was 5 years younger than me, and we didn't interact much. She was always the weird girl across the street, and for her, I was the guy who never invited her for anything. Our parents are friends, though, and we knew each other. When my mom told me she was moving to the same town I was working in, I called her. It started as me helping her buy furniture, groceries, etc., but I always tell her that I was sure I was going to marry her within the first month of meeting her. She took some time to warm up to me. We have now been married for 11 years and have 2 little monsters whose life goal is to break everything we own. We're happy in our little world. The issue started 2 weeks ago on a Sunday when I was playing with my 2 kids, making sure they don't destroy our house. My wife, 35 female, came to the room and looked like she had seen a ghost. She asked me if I was talking to my ex Kay. I told her I talked to her once 15 years ago, but not since then. My wife had received an email from Kay with the title "Please read." So we both sat together and opened the email. It stated that Kay wanted to contact my wife because she thought it would be inappropriate to contact me directly. However, Kay is suffering from CKD, which is some kind of a kidney disease, and waiting for a donor to match. She has not been doing well recently and wanted to reconnect with me since I was a very important person in her life. She asked my wife if she can talk to me via video call once and if she could help arrange it. My wife asked me what I wanted, and without thinking, my immediate reaction was no. I also asked my wife to not reply to the email, as I do not want her to contact us again. I do not know what I would, or she would gain by talking to me for 15 minutes at this point. It's something I want to avoid. However, my friends are now messaging me, telling me that I should at least talk to her once. She is not doing well lately. My wife also suggested to me on Sunday that maybe I should talk to her once. However, my heart says I should not. I feel like I'm doing something horrible, but I just don't want to open that Pandora's box. Am I wrong for not wanting to talk to her? Now for my comments. What a strange situation to find yourself in with Kay after so many years. Your emotions and the history with Kay have deeply impacted you, and it's totally fine to feel hesitant about reconnecting, especially given your history of heartbreak and mental stress after your breakup. While your instinct might be to protect yourself and your family, the perspective of others might be more compassionate due to Kay's illness. I agree with you that there's no point in talking to her for a few minutes. And why does it have to be a video call? Maybe I'm jaded, but something seems off about her reaching out after all this time. I wonder if you're a possible match to be a kidney donor. Over the years, she's reached out for one reason or another. If you are dead set on not talking to her ever again, perhaps suggest your wife reply to the email. Have her write a kind message acknowledging her situation without getting directly involved, and have her express your sympathies for her situation and hopes that she gets better. More importantly, have your wife tell her that you've closed that chapter of your life and have no interest in having any future contact with her. Whatever decision you make, it should be what you're comfortable with and what feels right for your well-being and your family's harmony. Am I the bonehead for telling my boyfriend what the nurses said to me when they took me into a private room? I, 20 female, had to go to the ER earlier today due to some chronic pain I've been experiencing for months. I don't like hospitals, as I've had incredibly bad experiences in the past, as well as dealing with this current issue and their mistreatment of me. As a result, my boyfriend stayed by my side and advocated for me when doctors tried to downplay my pain. As we were getting ready to leave, some nurses did the old trick of asking me to go over some old paperwork regarding some allergy thing so they could get me alone. They asked if I was in any trouble because my boyfriend showed signs of aggression, him not taking the doctor's BS and standing up for me. I thanked them, but assured them I was fine. I was on my way 10 minutes later. I met up with my boyfriend, and on the way home, he asked me what the paperwork was about, and I responded, "Oh, they were just making sure I was okay. They thought you were aggressive when you were defending me and wanted to make sure I was safe." My boyfriend responded, "Well, that's good. I'm glad they have protocols in place." I ended up mentioning this to my friend, who got really upset at me for spilling what those private meetings are for. I said I didn't think it's a big deal, and anyway, any man who watches a medical TV show, particularly dramas, will know what these private meetings are. I said, abusers know medical professionals are trained to look for signs, which is why they don't like taking their injured partners to hospitals. Abusers know this, and I didn't hurt anyone by being honest with my boyfriend. She got even more upset and said I really damaged the system, but I have no idea what that is. Am I the bonehead? Now, for my comments. It's clear your intentions were to be open and honest with your boyfriend about what occurred. You didn't divulge sensitive or confidential information, and you were sharing a concerning situation that involved both of you. One commenter said that getting help at a hospital isn't a secret. The worst abusers already know not to take their victims to the hospital. Your friend's reaction might seem exaggerated, especially considering the situation is commonly depicted in media. Some TV shows depict these scenarios, giving a glimpse into medical practices. Am I the bonehead for not warning my homophobic relative before she slipped on the ground and hurt her hip? So my family had a Christmas celebration a few days ago, and my aunt kept running her mouth about the LGBT community. She kept complaining that I brought my 21 female girlfriend, 22 female, to the celebration, since she and I barely know each other and she is not welcome. My girlfriend and I have been together for over a year, and it is not uncommon to bring guests to this annual celebration. My sister brought her high school boyfriend of only a few months last year, and I've brought friends in the past. I fully believe she complained because we are a lesbian couple. My aunt made comments about my girlfriend looking like a boy, and that because she looks like a boy, I was so close to having a normal relationship, I almost chose right. She also can't help but bring up the typical, "don't do it around kids." I hate when they make it their whole personality, and I hate the whole pronouns thing. My cousins have a tradition to bring a chocolate fountain to the event, which is very popular among the kids. And because kids are messy, they spill a lot. Naturally, they tend to spill the chocolate on the floor. So, toward the end of the night, when the adults were cleaning up, my aunt and I were isolated at the dessert area, and I noticed her inching toward the spilled chocolate. I knew she was going to step on it, but I didn't say anything. I figured she'd get some on her shoes and be annoyed, and that would be it. However, she slipped and fell onto the ground, and as soon as she landed, she screamed at me for not helping her or stopping her from falling. I kind of think she was being dramatic and fell on purpose, but regardless, she's acting like I'm Tanya Harding or something in the family group chat, as if I organized the whole thing. I do feel a little guilty for not saying anything, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a little satisfying watching her walk out of the function with an ice bag. So, I am at the mercy of Reddit now. Am I the bonehead? Now for my comment. Karma is a bee. Maybe she should have been paying more attention to where she was going rather than focusing on your love life. One commenter suggested that you should have kicked her when she was down. Am I the bonehead for not letting my half-sister use our family house? Not in the US. My 31 female parents divorced 18 years ago because my dad had an affair resulting in my half-sister, 18. My dad chose not to pay child support, but instead my mom got all the money in their joint account, and I got the family house we lived in. The house was left to him by my late grandparents with instructions to not sell unless absolutely necessary and to keep it in the family. My dad moved 2 hours away to live with his mistress. They never got married, and ever since, we were low contact with him and his side of the family. I moved across the country for university and got a job there. 6 years ago, my mom remarried and moved to another continent with her partner, so I basically paid my mom's cousin living in the same town to look after my house and didn't pay much attention to it. A couple weeks ago, my half-sister reached out to me. She was just 18 and pregnant. Her mom has been out of their lives for almost a decade, so with my dad kicking her out for wanting to keep the baby, she has nowhere to go. We met a total of 2 times our entire lives, once at our uncle's funeral and once at my university graduation. She wanted to stay at the house until she figured out what to do. I told her no. We have no relationship and I don't trust her with my house and my stuff. She said I was free to hate her, but she was still my grandparents' grandchild and should be able to stay at the house in her time of needs. She's currently staying with a distant relative on her mom's side, but couldn't make it permanent as their place was already small. She said they kept telling her to abort the baby so our dad would take her back and she could continue school, but she didn't want to. I know I don't owe her a thing, but what she said about my grandparents got me thinking. Am I the bonehead? Now for my comments. You don't owe your half-sister anything. You may be second-guessing yourself and considering extending a helping hand. However, your half-sister's request seems to suggest a long-term stay, and her financial situation might make it challenging for her to contribute financially, much less move out on her own. Allowing someone into your home without clear plans or an understanding could lead to potential issues, especially with the house's sentimental and family value. While empathy is important, it's equally crucial to balance your responsibilities and boundaries regarding the house and your own life. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and comment. I'll see you in the next Reddit story. Take care.